Are we recording now?
Yep.
Cool. So I was up. I'm just gonna interject because it's like the intro like interrupted me. So whatchamacallit. So I'm at my altcoin meetup, and about a third of it had to do with just this piece of equipment. Now it's in my backpack.
Well, hold on, Mitch. Hold on. We have to do the intro, Eddie.
Okay. Well, you're gonna do your intro.
Before you do an intro,
I was talking.
What's an altcoin? Is that just like a racist Republican coin?
They really hate dollar bills.
Just fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck
they
paper
hate
money.
Dollar bills, and they're coming after them.
They heard that Harriet Tubman was going to be put on the
bill.
Yeah, and they're like, "Fuck that." You know.
Stick with the 20s.
There's only one good
coins.
bill. There's only one good bill, and that's the $10 bill because of Hamilton. So there you go.
All right.
Yeah,
that's a theater joke right there.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Welcome to Fake Philosophers.
Hey everybody.
Hey,
Hey everybody.
can I go on now?
We recently
God, Eddie. God.
we're trying to intro Eddie.
God.
Okay, everybody. Eddie has something to tell
Eddie
us
has
about his
something
altcoins.
very important. Eddie is fired up right now, and he wants to talk to us about.
No, Mitch is freaking going off on rants and repeating himself.
You should know who we are. Mike,
And
Mitch,
I'm not even drinking.
Eddie, go about your altcoins.
All right, Eddie, you were telling a great story. Go ahead.
Well, it was that the
It sounded really good.
It sounded so good.
It's gonna be so good.
It better be.
Yeah, it sounded hilarious. Okay, so anyways, well, 1/3 of it was about, just wallets and stuff like that and where we're growing, and I'm still on an exchange, but then again, so is everyone else, and then we're doing, researching credit cards. The BlockFi one for 1.5%, but Coinbase has 4%. Anyways, isn't this going well? But what do I call it? So that's like the first third, and then the second third dealt with acting class because I sat next to somebody who was a child actor. She wasn't a child at the time, or she's just got a thyroid condition.
Wait, she wasn't a child when she was an actress?
She was an actress when she was a child. She did commercials and stuff like that.
Not a child in the class, though.
Huh?
Not a child in the class, though.
No, this isn't the class. This is the meetup.
This is where I know what you're talking about. This is where they teach adults how to act like children. Like, did you ever see Big?
Yes.
No, it's not that. She was a child actor.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like Freaky Friday. Got it. Go.
Exactly. But anyways, in the class, it was a 2-person scene with an activity. So I saw this Trezor digital wallet that I have sitting on my desk, and it's been doing that for the past month. So I was like, okay, we need an activity, a Meisner activity, where we have something that's damn near impossible, but can be accomplished with great difficulty. And that's pretty much it. So you're thinking of a broken plate or something, but no, I crafted this story where I'm bringing in my computer and a cartel's after me, and if I don't give them $200,000, they're going to kill my family. So that's great motivation. And they just kind of sat there and looked at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" I didn't give any room to let my partner in or anything because me dying and my family dying is stakes way above. Hi, how are you?
That's a Michael Scott move, yeah.
Damn straight, I'm angry. Anyways,
you know what's awesome? You know what's awesome is because you're that like, how would I describe you? That bohemian of a person, that like traveled of a person. I'm sure there's several times in those classes where people look at you, Eddie, and are like, "Is he acting, or is the cartel really coming after him right now?" Because
should we be afraid? Should we be concerned?
Are you okay? No.
It's fascinating. It's a fun class. Y'all should come. Okay, so back to that was the class. Now we're back to the meetup. And then we start talking about acting. So that's like another 33%. And then the final 33% was the good / on topic, my trip to New Orleans and how I got roped into that, and how the company I was with, the person I was with, kind of sucked. But, sucked, just from my perspective. I met somebody 10 years ago and at Burning Man. Did we do this story already? And then whatchamacallit? So she gets the room and she says, "Let's go to Jazz Fest." At first I was like, "No, I don't want to go to a music festivals. That sounds lame." And then I tell other people, they're like, "New Orleans is cool. Jazz Fest is cool. Why don't you go?" So I was like, "Okay, I got cast. Let's go." And so we go there and we're like, there's no rooms because there's Jazz Fest. So it's just like me and her, and we're sharing a bed. Okay, no big deal. Plies open, whatever. So we get there. It's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she just come from Croatia because she's originally from England, and just all of her friends rented a mansion, and it shows she's like coming from Croatia to New Orleans, right? So we go out on the town. There's our first night, and we get liquored up. We go to this one place that it has a piano, and of course I start singing, and it's like, let's try Hurricanes together. And what I didn't know, because she, at Burning Man, she's in her tent, I'm in mine, is that she's an angry drunk. And she's, she has her set of things that she wants to do, and just hang out and get the attention. I was getting like attention because I was singing in the bar. And she starts to go off with these like three guys. I was like, Kirsty, come on, stop. Let's go back to the hotel real quick. Just get your bearing. No. And I was like, I'm not going to fight with this woman. I am so not going to fight. I was just like, okay, you take her. And then I went back to the hotel, and I get back to the hotel. I'm like, oh crap. She hasn't even been here 24 hours. And her phone's like right next to me. So this could get bad. And so what ended up happening is the three guys, she annoyed them, and they came back looking for me to take her off their hands.
What a twist!
But she finally like a woman, saw the situation, gave her a ride back to the hotel, and she comes and she's not in a good mood, and I like to sleep at night, and she likes to watch TV. So, so she comes up, she's in and out of this damn whatchamacallit, drunk, of the room, because she's a smoker, and I'm trying to sleep 6 times. I shit you not, 6 times she's in and out. So she gets bored noticeably and goes across the street, because we're in the heart of the French Quarter. We're in the partying part of the French Quarter.
Okay.
Music starts at 10 a.m. and then ends at like freaking 2:30, and it does that every night. So she goes across the bar without footwear, and that plays a real important role in a second. And people start buying her Irish car bombs. So if she's shit-faced when she's like yelling at me trying to go to sleep and just want to keep the lights off and whatever, it's like, okay, this, So she gets more drunk, and then the owner sees her without her sandals, and then just makes a scene in the bar and kicks her ass out. Kicks her ass out of the bar. This is her. This is not me. This is not me embellishing one bit. This came out of her mouth. As she's leaving the bar, there's a homeless guy. It gets better from there, don't you?
Of course.
There's a homeless guy, and he says, yeah, my brother, he's not a very nice person. He treats people awful. And then, okay, so you've got a drunk woman and just a kind ear. So she sits next to them. They start talking. She gets cold in New Orleans. They share a blanket. And then she pulls out some white powder and then sniffs it off of his thumb.
Oh my God.
And says, want some? And she goes, sure. And it's like, dude, okay. And this is out of her mouth. I didn't see any of this. And then I have to spend the next freaking 5 days with this person sharing a bed. I was like, after this story, I'm cool. I don't want to get fleas, So I'm like looking all over New Orleans. There's no hotel rooms. So like, we just got to grin and bear it because Jazz Fest is on and the place is packed. So yeah, if you meet somebody with Burning Man, that doesn't,
and they just make random suggestions to go to these random places, maybe don't go.
Well, it was a cool experience. Well, the thing is, holistically, New Orleans was a very, very cool experience. I recommend that to you guys. I recommend that to everybody.
Sure.
But not during Jazz Fest.
Or go with someone you know.
Jazz Fest to be cool. It does not need Jazz Fest to be cool. And I did do something kind of where I set myself up. There was a situation, and this is the last part of New Orleans. It's also interesting. But I kind of just wanted to get away from Kirsty, and I'm like tired at the end of the day. So I was like hanging out at the casino, and stuff like that. So I'm walking back. It's 2 a.m.
It's just a trip. It's just a trip that you're doing all this with my sister. This is crazy.
But I never found out about this.
I'm walking like down Bourbon or one of the streets next to Bourbon Street back to our hotel. And I think it was Bourbon Street because it was right by Cafe Du Monde. And, there's a bunch of women at the casino. Nobody's saying anything to me, right? It's 2:30 a.m. I'm by myself. This Ford Explorer comes up next to me, window rolled down with an attractive black woman driving and says, hey, what's up, sugar? And I was like, yeah, hi. And I'm walking and I'm like, you know what? This is weird. And so I go back and I say, hey, what's up? And she's like, oh, and takes crap out of the front seat and just opens the door. And I'm like, okay, so I need to make sure this door is working. And so I open and close it twice as I get in. And it's like, hey, where are we going? She's all like, I know this bar around the corner. Cause I was like, if this is more than a mile away, I'm jumping out at a stoplight because this is sketchy already. So we go to this bar that's like really close. And it wasn't a big deal. What the big deal was, we didn't stay in the front part of the bar. There's a back part of the bar. And so we go there, I buy her wine. It's like $6. And then I order water. And I noticed that the bartender doesn't get it from the back. He takes it from the front and then brings it to us, a glass for her and a glass for her. And some like random weird homeless guy or something like that was in there saying, hey, I know who you are. I know who you are. And she's like, ew, get away from me and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, that's an interesting exchange. But as I'm talking to her, I'm taking sips off my water. And then she gets kind of dizzy. And I'm like, oh, that's the Mickey kicking in. Oh, I got it. I knew this would happen. So it's like, okay, how much longer do I want to play?
Oh
well, this is stupid. Okay. Here's, $2 tips. Thank you. I'm going back to my hotel now. Bye. And I just walked up and left. So I did set myself up. I knew I was being set up and I just wanted the story.
Wait, so
out of those,
someone Mickey'd her?
No, someone Mickey'd me. She Mickey'd me.
Oh, you were getting dizzy.
Did not Mickey me. No. She didn't Mickey me. I think the bartender Mickey'd me because the bartender was in on it.
So you were sipping your water and you felt dizzy?
Yes.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you said she felt dizzy. Got it. Okay.
Well, she got dizzy to me.
Got it. I understand.
She got dizzy to me. She started getting blurry and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I kind of knew this was going to happen. So that's why I didn't gulp my water. I knew, what I was getting in because all these women and somebody rolls it. That's never ever happened to me. Where
look, for all the times I've been roofied, I know the signs. Not this time, bitch. Not this time.
I knew I recognized you.
No, they almost got me.
As kids, Eddie, we're told not to get in cars with strangers. I feel like you just ignored.
Well, yeah, that's never ever happened to me. An attractive black woman has never come up at 2:30 in the morning and wanted me to get into her car.
I feel like our audience deserves a little bit of backstory here. We were sitting down. Mike, Eddie, and I just sat down, started chatting, and we were talking about this
late
episode,
for context.
and we were going to talk about crazy. We were going to talk about crazy traveling stories, and Eddie kind of rolled into his, and that was a. Yeah, I think that takes a cake. I'm glad,
I need a little context in this story. So you specifically said
Q&A.
You specifically said a black attractive woman has never rolled up at me at 2:30 a.m. And you were very specific. Has a woman of another race rolled up on you at 2:30 a.m. and gotten you in the car?
Great question.
Never.
Okay, so no women.
Yes.
So why did you draw that distinction?
Because it was a fascinating experience. Another deviation, another standard deviation.
I wasn't even like trying to make the joke like, oh, Eddie brought up she's black, he's racist. I was like, have other people come up to you when you're at 2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And this is why this one.
Not even in the piano bar. Not even in the piano bar. Not even in the freaking casino.
Wow.
Are people coming up to me?
Just the random person driving by saying, "Hey, sugar."
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and I was like,
and tried to roofie you. And tried to roofie you. Like they probably would have just robbed you, right? Not like she might have had her way with you.
Well, I went back and I couldn't believe what happened, even though
wait, you went back? You went back?
No, I went back to the hotel.
Oh, okay. I was just saying.
And of course, there's somebody working. It's a small hotel, so there's one guy behind there. So he comes out behind the desk, we sit behind the table, and I describe what happened. He's like, "Yeah, it doesn't get on the news a lot because people get embarrassed, but yeah, you get Mickey'd, you go to her place because you think you're going to get lucky, or you go to a hotel room." And then her pimp shows up and they want X amount of money and they're going to bust you out for it and then she leaves. So it's like, he's like, yeah, it's New Orleans. And there's that element in there.
That's happened. That's happened to me. Not on your side. I was on the other side of it. And
you Mickey'd someone?
Oh yeah. And no, we Mickey'd this dude, got him back to the hotel and robbed him blind. It was a good time.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun. So the New Orleans is full of adventures if you're looking for them. I didn't even go see a swamp. I didn't see alligators like I wanted to.
You wanted to go to a swamp, okay? That's true traveler Eddie.
I did see Katy Perry and I did see Indigo Girls and I saw Van Morrison and I saw Doobie Brothers and they're all awesome.
Wow.
I like you're more upset that you didn't get to see a swamp, and then when you're talking about all these famous people, you're like, yeah, I saw the Doobie Brothers.
I guess that was cool.
No, but I will say,
New Orleans, I want to absorb the culture.
no, of course, like the swamps and the alligators. I get it. Go to Florida. So it is a lesson learned though, because I've heard this story before, not the specific story, but this idea of the story of hanging out with someone you kind of know, and just living to really regret it. A quick example, a guy I know, I'm not going to go into the details, but I was actually almost going to go on this trip. It was a cruise based out of Florida. I almost went on this trip, and a guy I know was going on it with some other guys that like we all kind of knew each other, but not really. I could go into details why, but it doesn't matter. So he goes, it's pretty much him, my buddy, and then this guy and his wife and another guy. And he said that, like, so he went, it was almost the opposite of what Eddie was saying with Christy, whatever. Because he went, and he's like, this is a cruise. It's not like a family cruise. This is a party cruise. I'm coming to party. And, like, the people he went with were all, like, in bed by 8 and, like, and all that stuff. And so he's like, no, I'm here to, like, it's a party cruise. We're here to party.
Yeah.
And so, like, he would go, like, stay out late, come home late, like, come back to the room late, blah, blah, blah. And so by the end of the trip, like, they all hated him. He didn't like them. And it was just an awkward thing. And even, Eddie, I remember you were there the early days when I went to college in Vegas. And a chick that I went to high school with, I was a senior, she was a freshman. I knew her through theater. By the time I went to Vegas, she had moved out. I think she was still, like, maybe 17 or 18. But so she moved out to Vegas, so she was the only person I knew. So I'd hang out with her sometimes. We wouldn't really drink that much or anything. Sometimes we'd just hang out at her house with her folks and whatever. But so one time we went to the downtown area, Fremont Street. And she had like a fake ID or she knew people. And she just got fucking lit. Like she got wasted. And I'm driving. I'm 21 at the time. And I'm driving. And like I'm like, okay, like I'm going to stop drinking. Because this chick is 17 and she's blitzed. So I'm going to stop drinking to make sure she doesn't get like in trouble. And so, like, we're driving, and this is why I still didn't know Vegas. I got on the wrong freeway, and I'm like, oh, I have to get off. And so I'm in the right lane to get off the next exit, you know what I'm saying?
Like, get off, like, with her...
To get off the freeway.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I follow the law.
Go.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, and... But no, so it was just one of those things that she was annoying the shit out of me. I said, oh, my God. Like, I was in the right lane to get off. She's like, why are you in the right lane? Only slow drivers drive in the right lane. And I was like, I'm getting off at the next exit. And she's like... You're driving slow. And I was like,
She really sounded like Tourette's guy. I mean,
maybe, but she was like, oh. And so like,
there's nothing worse than someone who's just hammered and you're like kind of coming down.
Yeah.
You're, like sobering
I was
up,
just
and
like,
that's
Jesus.
the worst.
And so it's whatever. I get off the freeway. I turn around, I go the right way. And she kind of says, she's like, we're going back to my house, right? I was like, yeah. She goes, can we stop by the store and get some more beer? In my head, I was like, we're going to her house. Fine. We can drink at her house. But so it's important to point out, like me, when I was 16 years old, I looked like I was 25, right? This girl at 17 or 18 looked like she was 14 years old. The opposite.
Yeah.
So she's like probably 29, 30 now. I've seen recent photos of her. Still looks like she's probably 19 or she's just one of those people, you know, like some people look. So keep that in mind. We pull up to this gas station and park, and there's 2 squad cars parked outside the gas station. And I was like, fuck. But, like, it's the only gas station. Like, she lived on the outskirts. It's, like, the closest gas station. The other one's, like, 10 minutes away. And I was like, fuck. And she's like, all right, let's go inside. I was like, you are staying here. I was like, you are staying here. And she's like, I have to pee, though. I was like, hold it. We're 2 seconds from your house. I'll grab beer. Hold it.
Yeah.
And she's like, fine. I was like, there's cops in there. Like, you're 7. I'm not about to fucking... Like, I'm going to get in more trouble than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I go inside. The cops are just, like, chatting with the clerk. I buy my beer. I walk outside. This bitch is squatting next to my car, pissing on the ground.
Oh, sweet.
And I was like, fuck. I'll say Christy just so I don't say her name because she might watch this.
Yeah.
I was like, Christy, what are you? And I was like looking back, like, get the fuck in the car. She's like, I had to pee, and I was like,
oh, you went the wrong way with it. I would have been like, ma'am, who are you? Who are you? I don't know you, officer.
This young lady,
this homeless lady is.
But I was like, fuck.
That's a good way to go.
That would have been, but I was just like, oh my God, get in the fuck. And she was just, I had to pee. And the point being relating to Eddie's story It's like I hung out with her every now and then, but we never really like partied together.
Because 3 strikes.
And then that time it was like, oh, I think that was probably one of the last times I actually hung out with her in Vegas.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have no friends in Vegas than worried about getting arrested.
Than babysit, yeah. Yes. Babysitting's fun. The context babysit, like when you're the designated responsible one, and there's always those people that are just blitzed.
True. I forgot the one positive interaction I got from, is it Kirsty or Christy? I forgot her name. I blocked her. But
and just to explain, my real life sister's name is Kirsty. That's why I was like, wait, who? Because it's not a common name.
Never told me.
Hang on,
she never told me about
yeah,
it.
This is new to Mitch. But the one thing, okay, so she didn't even want to go to Jazz Fest, and I made my own friends at Jazz Fest. That was pretty cool.
But, did they roofie you or?
I know they gave me a beer.
There you go. Okay.
But whatchamacallit? But she was like hungover. She had no interest. And I was like, well, screw you. I paid for the tickets. They're mine. I'm going. But she was binge watching 90 Day Fiance. And I got into that for a little bit. The one where the guy's like 19, Jamaican.
That's not a good thing.
That wasn't too bad. That was interesting. I didn't stick around because I had to go, see the Doobie Brothers. But I kind of got into it.
Shamefully, I've been like the subject of hotel room cable and getting into shows that I would have sworn I never would have gotten into.
I find it funny you're going to Jazz Fest, all these great bands in New Orleans. You're like, the one good thing I got out of Kirsty is I watched 90 Day Fiance.
I find it kind of ironic. Yeah, it's good, and I invite you guys to go. I mean, it's an amazing thing, especially from performers.
Oh yeah,
where LA sucks up everything. You go there, and it's like soul. They don't care if you're an actor. They only care if you're a musician or a singer.
Yeah, I will absolutely take your recommendation in New Orleans. I'm not watching 90 Day Fiance. To be clear,
well, you shouldn't. Don't get hangover and don't stay in the room. There's better places to go, like the whole city, like the whole,
literally anywhere else.
Anywhere else, but
literally anywhere else.
The whole state is amazing, wonderful people. But you get a bad apple. I learned my lesson.
Yeah, you do a little hobo crack. You move on.
And for the life of me, the funny thing is, she couldn't figure out why I wouldn't talk to her about it, because it's like.
Did you
I
try?
didn't want to have that discussion of, are you out of your fucking mind? Because I have to spend the next 5 days with this person in a bed. She could continue not to act right. There could be feces on the wall. I don't know, So I just have to, I was like the most passive aggressive roommate I've ever been in my life. It's just, hi, yeah, oh, that's amazing, yeah, okay, well,
I'll be honest, picturing Eddie as passive aggressive, I can't picture it.
Well, when it comes to survival, yes. When it comes to survival, yes.
Did you end up smashing?
I asked. She was insulted, but no. I did ask, and it's like no. Even with all of that, it's like, well, I have my moments. So,
I like that you asked.
Can't all be winners.
No, and I'm still friends with some. Well, she might watch this. But.
Oh shit! Well, at least we didn't say her name.
I'll blur her name out.
Oh, okay, yeah, blur.
Audio's not being touched, but I'll blur your lips.
Have you ever?
It's all good. So, how was England, Mitch?
Thank you for asking. Yes, I went to England. Yeah, it was good. It was great. I flew in. I was in London a whopping, I think, collective hour for the whole trip before I hopped on a bus and headed down to Southwest England and to Plymouth and spent a week with my wife's family. It was pretty great. How was the flight? Did you fly a coach or did you use points to get upgraded or what? No, man, no. I flew in just regular seats. Wasn't even I guess coach. Yeah, with all the peasants. It was great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it wasn't too bad. It was 3 hours, then 9 hours, and then through there it was a 4-hour bus trip, or 5-hour bus trip to get to their house.
Was it at least a nice, a good bus?
Yeah. Okay. To speak on this, because I was bitching about this the entire trip. We live in Southern California. It's always hot. It's always sunny. It's dry. There's no water. It's terrible. My favorite weather of all is cold, rainy weather.
Damn straight.
Yeah, not freezing, California. But cold.
Cold, cuddle weather.
Yeah,
is my favorite.
Curl up. California, absolutely.
Yeah, it's the best.
SoCal.
It's become a joke with my family because my sister Kirsty, who lives in Washington,
who's not been in New Orleans,
different Kirsty. She might have been in New Orleans. Holy shit! No.
Ask her about 90 Day Fiance.
I'll ask. Yeah, no, but
I love that show.
My sister and her husband, they live in Washington, where it's always cold, it's always rainy. Every time I go to visit them, it just happens to be the week that the sun is out and it's sunny and bright and whatever. So here I am looking forward to good, cold, rainy weather, and then the sun comes out. So my wife and I were planning this trip. We're going to England. The sun literally does not exist in England. It'll be great. It'll be cloudy, cold, rainy. It's in the middle of October. It'll be great. We get there. It was bright and sunny when we got off the plane. We got there at like 6 a.m. their time, and it was bright and sunny. We were driving through the countryside. So that's what reminded me of this was your question. Driving through the country, we saw a great view the whole time. So 5 hours of just awesome. It's just shitloads of sheep. Like so many sheep in England. That blew my mind. That whole week there just conveniently happened to be sunny, awesome weather. It was raining in California while I was gone, and I was in England on a hike, and I possibly got sunburned. It's some horse shit. It's some horse shit, and I'm mad. And my wife's like, he doesn't really like the rain. It was very frustrating.
No, that's how it works.
Very frustrating. Speaking of trips, Mike, have you been on a trip recently, or?
I recently have also traveled, yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I traveled up, my lady and I flew up to Portland to pick up some valuables, some stuff we didn't want to ship. And then we road tripped down the coast back to the Los Angeles area.
Like I saw your post about it. It was like a beer crawl down the coast.
Kind of, yeah. We would drive for a little bit, stop at a brewery, have a beer, keep driving, stop at a brewery, have a beer.
Now, is this like do you do this every year, or is it like
no? So this one
trip, or
no? This one we planned because her folks had like china and silver, like really nice stuff that they want to give to Erica, my girl. But
name dropper.
Yeah, they didn't want to. We didn't want to ship it just in case
something happens. Yeah.
Something happens to it. So that's why the plan was we'd fly up there. And then she was owed a week off of work anyway, and I kind of was too. So we just kind of planned it to where we would take a whole week off and just drive down. Because I know if you don't take your time, that drive could be a day and a half, or even 1 day if you just like trooper it out. I think it's like 19 hours. I don't know off the top of my head.
Enjoy it.
No, yeah. So we like just took our time. We stopped in. So Eureka, I was really looking forward to. That town's kind of a shithole.
Where is Eureka?
It used to be more interesting. Well, it's a logging town.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe shithole's...
Oh, Eureka. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe shithole's dramatic, but we went through there because there was a brewery that Lost Coast Brewing. I wanted to see that.
Oh, yeah.
And it turned out it was closed the day that we were passing through there. But okay, it's Eureka, though. And we did find a nice seafood restaurant, but like the actual city itself, like there was tons of homeless. Like the buildings are old because it's like a classic old, like you said, a logging town from like the 1800s, but like it was just really like not what I expected. And I hate to hate on it.
Arcata. You should have gone to Arcata. That's the nice part of that area.
Maybe,
and it's where the whole state is. You know?
Maybe we just kind of we were kind of improvised. Like we would get our hotels maybe like a day or two out, so it wasn't like we had the whole trip planned. We were kind of giving ourselves some leniency.
Yeah.
But so we went through Eureka, went through the Avenue of the Giants, the Redwoods area. That was nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Stopped out in Santa Rosa. Went to a couple breweries, a couple wineries there. Yeah, it was nice.
I've done that drive. It's a fun drive.
Yeah. I will tell you, so Los Angeles driving I've gotten used to, like that downtown area.
Yeah.
I think New York, the driving in Manhattan is absolutely terrifying. The one time I went to New York, we had an Uber, and the way he was driving around, I was just like, oh my God, how do people do this? Fuck San Francisco driving. Driving in San Francisco. Fuck that. Like, it wasn't that it was hard. It was just like, like I had a rental car that had like, I'm not a car person, but had shit acceleration, shit.
Oh no. Okay.
And so like at one point we were going like up this steep ass hill, and I'm just like, hope I make it. Like, I was not having a good time driving around there. We were there for maybe an hour and a half, and I was just fuck this.
If you've ever been to England, which I have, I was in England. Have
you been to England, Glennie?
I've been there once, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Probably not for very long, though, right? It doesn't matter. They drive on the left side of the road, actually.
Intolerable.
Yeah.
Intolerable.
It's pretty insane.
The whole country just breaks the law.
It's what you learn when you're traveled.
Mm-hmm. And I also stay at I had the worst hotel experience I've ever had in my life on the trip, too.
In England or in San Fran?
Not in San Francisco. but on the trip aisles.
Oh, okay.
So let's throw it in. They don't have bad advertisements.
Okay.
But this episode not brought to you by
Oh, good transition. I like it. Segue.
the Monterey Hotel.
Monterey Hotel.
I'm gonna double check to make sure that's the correct name. It was in Monterey, if you couldn't guess.
That's surprising.
But I'll explain.
Is it a chain or is it a standalone?
It's a standalone hotel.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The Monterey Hotel. So I don't want to completely hate on it, but I do. So
wait, is this an experience thing or is this a commercial thing?
This is an experience thing.
Okay, so it's not the same.
Yes and no. I'll explain. So when we were driving, my lady found the hotel. Oh, this is an historic hotel. It's nice. The pictures look beautiful. I was like, yeah, let's stay there. Cool. Historic is very accurate in this case.
Yeah.
To where our room literally had, it's like going down, even like we stayed at some shit motel, and at least like there was room, there was a desk, like because I'm a little night owl, so she went to bed, I kind of went on my laptop. This had no desk, no space. There was maybe 2 feet on each side of the bed, 3 feet at the front, and the restroom, and it was just like so tight, no AC, and you're in the middle of a downtown area, so even cracking the window, and so it was just like, okay, and even like she asked like, is there something, and there was nothing else available, and it was like, fuck, and so we stuck it out. We didn't bitch and moan about it, and yeah, so she had earplugs because she sleeps with earplugs. I don't, but so yeah, so we had no AC, so it was warm. There was people, like the alley was right there. Like I think we're on the second floor. I forgot it was on the second, third floor, but still the alley's right there. So throughout the night you're hearing dumpsters, like you're hearing drunk people, and like the bed. I feel like the bed had been there since the building was built. You know what I'm saying? Like so, the bed was not. And even later, she said too, like she agreed the bed was not comfortable, and it was just bad all around. Like granted, I'm tall, but like the counter was super low. Like in the bathroom, like even washing my hands, I was like, oh, like it was just overall just bad. And but like if you go to their website, it's like beautiful, historic, and blah blah blah. And it's like historic is that code. Yeah, I get it. And so that's why I'm saying it's kind of the commercial, because their marketing is very much like, it's so cozy, it's so relaxing, it's historic,
cozy,
and it's like historic's that code word of like
rustic, historic.
Yeah. If I'm like, Mitch, you can come to my historic bar where we have historic restrooms, and you go there and you have to pull a fucking string, and like, you know what I mean? Like it's a code. It was a code word.
Yeah,
that worked.
Yeah,
because we got it.
How did it get on Yelp? That's why I always use Yelp.
I do look at Yelp, but I don't like Yelp for my own reasons of like the business and people going on there and just talking shit for no reason.
Well, when I was in England, I went to England.
You went to England,
and it's very historic. There's a lot of historic shit. Yeah, couldn't find out. It was really, that was one of the, I think it was the first night we were there, a culture shock kind of moment. My wife's sister married a vicar. In England, and that's how we got. That's the story of why we have family there. Anyway, so our first night there. First of all, he was like, "Hey, I need to go close. I need to lock up the church. Do you want to go?" And he said it in an accent. Do you want to come? We're gonna stop by the pub afterwards. So first of all, it was a big like culture shock for me, because I'm like, okay, well in America, clergy don't drink. It's like a sin to drink.
Or if they do it in the confines of their own home.
Yeah. So it was like that was like already a culture. It's like, okay, it's England. Everyone drinks. It's fine. There's not that taboo of it. It's a social thing. It opens you up. It loosens you up. And I'm like, thank you. Yes, thank you. Okay. Jesus' first miracle, made wine. It was great. Anyway, he takes me to the church first, and he shows me this giant old historic church. And in the church is this plaque of all the vicars previous to him, dating back to 1270, I think, was like the first one.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So I'm standing in this cathedral with the vicar and a long line of hundreds of years, legacy of this church. I mean, it's so obvious when you say it, but it's another thing when you like are actually standing in a place of like, okay, this church, people were preaching here before my country was born. This
exactly.
church
I
is,
had that feeling too.
Yeah,
you're in a pub and doing
it.
that,
and it's like obvious. Like there's a lot of shit that happened that's still around before this country was born. It's a young ass country, but to actually be there and see it, it's like, whoa, okay, this is pretty. This is pretty sweet. It was really cool.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know to compare though. Like if I'm not religious, but even going into like if someone says historic church and I go in there and it's like hot, I'm like, all right,
yeah,
I'm not fucking sleeping here.
Yeah. But then again,
when you hear historic church too, you're like, are we burning witches historic, or is it just
Has this been rebuilt 3 times?
Okay, yeah. No.
Then again, keep in mind, some would consider your accommodations. You're looking at it from an American standpoint. If it calls itself a hotel motel, you have certain expectations. But that being said, in England, if you go to a 1-star, I went to a one. I had to stay in Gibraltar. I wanted to stay in, kind of not bad. It was a very small room, and then you go in. They didn't put like sealer or whatever in the bathroom, so it was like caked with mold and stuff like that. So. Ugh. Yeah, it can get. We complain in this country, and there are like pretty bad places, but my worst experiences have been in other countries.
Yeah, when I was in England.
Wait, were you in England?
Yeah,
okay.
We stayed with my wife's sister. She married a vicar in England.
Oh, okay.
But so the house they stayed in is literally called the vicarage. It's the house they give the vicar, town vicar. Okay. And so this house even is probably older than my country. We're sleeping in it, but the plumbing was brand fucking new.
Nice.
It was awesome. So you can be historic and still be cool.
Yeah.
It was an awesome little.
True.
We went to the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh yeah.
So we went to the Winchester House. Their plumbing and electricity was up to date.
Even in the Winchester House. Get on
the tour guide even showed us like, oh yeah, to bring it up to code, we had to install all this stuff and this and that. And I was like, oh, so they can't buy a fucking mattress at the Monterey Hotel?
Yeah, they take care of the old place, which brings in,
They can't go to living spaces and get a fucking new
the
mattress.
Monterey Hotel brings in tourists too. They could lighten the place up.
I would have accepted a mounted in the window AC unit.
Sure, yeah.
I would have accepted that.
Yeah, or even just a good mattress. Even it's kind of
that's what I'm saying. One or the other. I would have accepted either.
You're not offending the historical society if you just get a new mattress on an old ass bed.
I think they would. The spirits of the hotel would probably forgive you for getting new mattresses.
Yeah, it'd still be haunted. You could still sell that point too.
If you put the window mounted AC unit, they're gonna say at least you kept the window.
See, bright side.
That's why I always stick with name brands. When I last Thanksgiving went across country and everything, there was like a road trip guy who's on the road a lot, and he just did for low budget. And then chains that, are kind of on the nice end and whatever. But that's really important to me.
No, and you're right.
It's safe too. I look into safety. And if I have like Embassy Suites, when we stayed in Amarillo, it's like, no, we're staying there because we're guaranteed breakfast and what have you. And I know the layout of that room and I know it's going to be clean. So.
Yeah. And no, you're right. And even for the majority of the trip, minus I think it was like the motel in Eureka and this place, we stayed at she's a member of like the Marriott Rewards Club, so we stayed at mostly Marriott properties. But so this one, and she felt guilty as hell when I woke up. Like I was like, I had a fucking fever dream because I was just so uncomfortable. But she felt bad about it. But I couldn't even blame her because like it looked like an historic hotel. It looked like it was gonna be a great time, fine. And it was just like meh.
Yeah.
Well, even Buckingham Palace, you don't want to stay there because. According to everybody, they have heads of state. They have celebrities stay there, but there's 7 rooms and 1 freaking bathroom because it's Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
They're not going to update it.
Yeah.
Just because you're famous, just because you control nuclear missiles. No, it's Buckingham Palace. You want to stay with the Queen? You're staying there.
And you'd think they'd at least update it for people who control nuclear missiles, because I would have nuked Monterey.
That's true.
I would have taken Monterey out.
That's where you just hear news articles and stuff like that reporting on it. It's like, I hope they bump me to a hotel because I just don't want to stay at Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us will have that problem, but just to let you guys know.
That would be an ego.
The Queen says, hey, come on over.
If I were the Queen, that might be an ego, like an insult, because it's like, oh, come and stay at my home. And you're like, oh, no.
I'd rather stay at the Monterey Inn.
I'll stay down the street.
I'll literally rent the room across the street. It'd be better.
I'll Uber over, Your Majesty.
A vicar. I'll stay. He drinks too. Do you?
Yeah, that was another cool thing. I was at this pub when I was in England, and they had
Were you in England?
yeah.
Okay.
They had the taps, the beers on tap. They had the pump, the old school like
On
pump.
all of them, or did some of them?
The ones I ordered, it might not. I don't know
Okay.
if it was all of them, but the ones I ordered, they definitely had like the pumping
Sure.
style, not the compressed.
The CO2.
Regular, yeah, that was really cool too. Again, I was like tripping out, and everyone was kind of laughing because like, do you realize how cool and old this shit is? This is amazing. We don't have this shit in America. Old shit, yeah, it's really cool. It's cool until for like you're a week in, and then it gets old.
And the funny thing too is that if they came here and just saw all CO2, they're like, "What the fuck is this?" They're probably like,
Well, it's like a simple thing like biscuits and gravy. Like somebody from Ireland came and saw that at Bob's Big Boy, and he's like, because that to them that's like cookies and gravy. It's like, what the hell is this? And then he gets
biscuits.
Bites into it, and he goes, "These are scones."
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh yeah, they are."
in England, they call crisps, chips or crisps,
and that
like
actually
French
makes
fries
sense.
Chips, yeah.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot that makes sense. So my brother and sister-in-law, they have 3 kids, and they're like 7, 5, and 3, so they're real young. That was the most fun, was kind of telling them like they like say you know how you say when you have leftovers food and you want to wrap it up and put it in the fridge. What do you wrap it in? Plastic? No. What else do you have? It's that metal, aluminium. I'm like, yeah, right.
Aluminium.
Okay, aluminium.
That's awesome.
That makes sense because that's how you pronounce that word. We call it aluminum, and I swear, all 3 of these like 7, 5-year-old kids, they're like aluminum. They're making fun of how we say aluminum, and it's warranted because it makes no sense.
Well, I think so. It's funny. When I was in Australia one time, I went out.
You went to Australia?
I went to Australia.
When was this?
This was years ago. in my
okay.
youth.
Right.
No,
A while
but
back.
I went to a pub down the street from the hotel with a bunch of guys who worked at the hotel. So I just got to know the bartenders. So I went with them, and we were talking about that, and aluminium came up.
Yeah.
And I think you can make the argument that aluminum and aluminium are both acceptable. Just
No.
depending
No.
on depending how you look at the word.
No, aluminum doesn't make sense. Aluminium is how you would pronounce it.
It's no. If you look at syllable by syllable, if you just change the vowel sound, either way. But then he even took it a step further, and he's like, "And you guys with your Nissan," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "It's a Nissan."
Nissan?
He's like, "It's Nissan," and I was like, "What?"
Huh.
And he's
Okay,
like,
that one makes
and he's
more
like, "Americans, Nissan, it's Nissan," and I was like, and that one I was like, okay,
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, telling these kids how to pronounce aluminum was one thing because their dad was the vicar was sitting at the table where he's like, he was like, yeah, I mean, it says, so he kind of had that air of like, yeah, they pronounce it weird. They pronounce it weird.
Those guys.
And then I said, however, we have what's called a lieutenant, and if you look at the spelling of the word lieutenant, makes a lot of sense. And immediately the guy, like my brother-in-law, immediately he hears lieutenant and his head drops and he's like, yeah. And he starts nodding. And I say, okay, so how do you say lieutenant? And he says, lieutenant. And
Lieutenant.
I'm like,
I've heard that.
I'm like, well, yeah. And the kids are like, well, yeah. I mean, he's like, but there's no F in it. Why is there an F and there's no F in the word?
I have seen that spelled left though.
Really?
Now, obviously not there but I've seen that spelled lieutenant.
Phonetically spelled lieutenant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have that's a
Were
rare
they retarded? I mean,
no, but that is a rare occurrence. You're absolutely right.
So I'm just saying, like,
never seen that. Never seen that.
sometimes Americans pronounce it. I'm going to say the Americans are pronouncing it weird because technically they invented the friggin' language. So I think they have
Very
dibs.
true. We're speaking their language. I
Aluminium.
can't wait to go over there and order a pizza with
Tomatoes. Yeah, they said tomatoes. I was like, tomatoes.
Hey, this ain't the Hobbit.
I
This ain't the
will
Hobbit.
say when I was in Australia talking with those guys, because when I visited London and England, it was on an educational trip, so you don't really have that much experience to interact with people.
London's pretty cool. England's pretty cool.
I wanna go back.
If you've been to England, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm sure. I counted it as a half trip because like it was a guided tour. It wasn't like we could just do whatever we want. But in Australia, being around those guys, like I even told them straight to their faces, like I feel brutish just with my accent. Yeah. I told them, I was like, I feel brutish because you all sound like nice,
More eloquent.
and I'm like fucking aluminum.
That is funny. I mean, I think we have more in common with Australia being a fellow colony offshoot.
Australia is pretty much America with
Right.
English-esque accents. It pretty much is.
I feel like they would say we're the same with Canadian-esque accents. America
yeah.
is Canadian-esque.
Yeah, no. But no, even because I remember when I was there, I stayed in Sydney, and there was like, it was minus the side of the street you drove on. It was pretty much what you'd expect if you went to America.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never been to Australia.
And then going to Canada, going to like Vancouver, it's like that's a different experience, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be next for me. I'd love to go
nice.
to Canada. That sounds awesome.
I went to Victoria.
Yeah.
Victoria,
Canada? Yeah.
right
Matt-
across Vancouver.
Yeah, and that was just kind of America Junior.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I call Vancouver Europe West.
Okay.
Europe West.
But it's still fun to go there. I mean, you know, it's a great city. It's like New Orleans, but not dingy. You know,
It's everything just on a scale of New Orleansy.
It's
like
pretty much.
You know, Nova Scotia is more like cold ghetto New Orleans.
on a scale from swamp to French Quarter.
Is it more Burning Man or Jazz Fest? Yeah.
That's how it is. Yeah.
So New Zealand, I would say, is the Canada of Australia.
Okay. Yeah.
New Zealand. Yes, it is. It is. They see themselves as that too.
I'm sure they do.
Well, talking to them, because when you're on the road and you're staying at a youth hostel, you're not with people from that country. It's like everybody else is traveling.
Interesting.
So it's like, that's why New Zealand thinks it's cool. And that's why, Canada, I don't know if they still do this, but they like to put flags on their backpack just to make sure they're not American, they're Canadian.
I think Americans do that too.
Really?
We do not want to be mixed up with Canadians.
Going through
okay,
Eastern
so there's
Europe,
an
you're like,
easy
oh, I'm
way-
Canadian.
There's an easy nondescript way to tell somebody this back in the day. So if it's like North Face or REI, they're from America. But if there's a specific like outdoor co-op
Oh,
in
interesting.
Canada where everybody gets their backpack. So if you see that, you don't need to see a flag. You just identify the brands,
Okay.
Clever.
backpack, and then, or you talk to them, and if they say they're out and about, it's okay. I know what part of New Orleans you're from.
Yeah, but I will say New Zealand was interesting traveling in. When I went to New Zealand, I was there for 2 weeks to shoot a short film. And going into New Zealand, going through international customs was an experience. A bag of mine got lost, but that aside, my second bag was pretty much a gear bag. And in that bag was a stage combat katana.
Oh, dear.
And to those who don't know stage combat, it's pretty much a real sword, just dull. But it's actually enforced more than a real sword so that you can bang it around and it won't break. So we're going through customs, and they're x-raying all the bags going through. Eesh. And this guy was just straight up like, is that a sword? And of course, I'm like, it was Mike. We were both like, oh, it's just a stage combat sword. It's not even sharp. It's blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what's that wire wrapped around it? Because the handle had like this wire. It's just decorative. And we're like, oh, that's just a decorative piece. He's like, all right, cool.
No way.
And just let us through. I was like, all right, great.
Wow.
And then,
Nice.
yeah. So without going through all the details, when we were leaving, not going through all the details, but we were running late for the flight. And so we were flying from Christchurch to Auckland, and then Auckland to the States. We were in Christchurch, and I pretty much, someone said they stopped boarding. Because I think I was giving someone a bag, and they're like, they stopped checking bags. Like, we're done. And I was like, no, nope. And I just ran. I had like my laptop on me and a backpack. I forgot, but I just ran. And it was just funny because just the difference in security. So I'm running up. Like I said, everything was running late. I'm running up. There's no line of security. But I run up. I'm like going for my shoes. And he's like, huh, you one of those Yanks running late? So something like that. Because we were all, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, let's go.
That's pretty cool.
I was like,
They're cool in other countries.
but I was like,
Cool.
all right, like I'm not gonna fucking second guess you. And I was the last one to plane, but I just remember that moment I was like getting ready to take my laptop out,
Yeah.
and he was like, ha, you're fucking one of those those Yanks that are running late, huh? And I was like, he's like, just let's go.
Just go. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So all that's the past. Where are you guys going next? Where's your next trip?
North Carolina in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's not as
not as travel.
North Carolina in a couple weeks.
And then Washington in January to see my new niece. Hopefully. Well, she's due in November, so hopefully I'll see my new niece.
I mean, we'll see.
That's so bad.
That did sound, yeah.
No,
Lenny?
I think I'm just going back to Portland for Thanksgiving.
nice.
Back to Portland for Thanksgiving.
How about you? Any crazy adventures coming up?
Yeah, damn straight. A year from now, I'm going. I haven't been back to Europe in 22 years, so I'm going to. Well, I've got a room. That's all I have at this point. I've got a room. The reason why I have a room is because Festival de San Fermines, running of the Bulls, it was canceled 2 years in a row. And I'm like, okay, let's see if I can even get a room. You cannot get a room because in previous years, if you're there, you're booking for next year. You're icing it down. So there's a snowball's chance you're going to have to go. You're not staying in Pamplona. I got a room because nobody's tracking on it. They're thinking about this summer. So I've got 3 nights, and 3 nights means 3 or 4 nights, and that means 2 runs. Nice. So, and the trip around that for right now, I haven't booked airline tickets or anything else, but I want to go learn Cockney. So I'm going to go to London and just try to pick up that accent. And then I want to go to Edinburgh to just, learn a Scottish accent and, just kind of see that area. But could evolve into other things because I really would like to see Pompeii as well, because I like Roman history and what have you. And I'm in that neighborhood, and it's going to be all flights. And I'm looking at an American Express Platinum because I want to be bougie. I want this to be a nice trip. I'm not sleeping on the train anymore like I did 20 years ago. But that was fun. I've slept on trains. I slept in the park when I went to Pamplona because there were no rooms available. I was with 20 other people, so it was cool. But yeah,
sounds like fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
It was cool. I mean, just the random stuff that when you're 20 years old and you're just I want to see the South Spain. And,
But now you're going hotel room.
Yeah, now I'm going hotel room.
Okay.
It's going to be planned out. I'll take trains when I need to. Otherwise, I'm flying every place.
Are you gonna run?
You're damn straight. That's why I'm going there.
Some people just go to watch.
Rock and roll, man.
Some people just go to watch.
It's more expensive. Well, you might be able to get in the bull ring and stuff like that. Wow. Yeah, sure. There would be more. It's more expensive to watch than it is to participate.
That makes sense. That makes sense because one of them is the entertainment.
So you get to pay less.
You get to pay less.
Exactly.
I can't believe you're paying someone. It's like, oh man, I'd have to be paid to run from bulls.
But it's an incredible experience. I want to get more out of it than I did last time, and that's me standing in San Diego saying this and not having bulls in front and back of me chasing me down. It's really easy to say that.
No,
but when you're there,
I think because to my knowledge, throughout the track, there's ways to jump out, right?
I have no idea.
There's 6-7 foot wooden barriers. If you want to duck out, you can get out of the way. But the course runs, and those are wooden. So if you want to jump it, you'll have adrenaline going. It'll regardless of what your physical stature, you're going to have adrenaline.
Because I feel like no, I'm with you. I feel like right now I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to get in there and run. But I know myself, and I would be there ready to go. But as soon as I heard any noise, I'm dipping and I'm going. Like no.
Get out of the way, and it's not that difficult. To give you. Well, okay, so just a little background. I had finished my first run. I got done with a cultural exchange between Pasadena and Ludwigshafen am Rhein. And so I didn't have any tickets booked on train. So I went just onesie and twosie it all the way down to the south of France and then getting to Spain. That from Hendaye to Irun, I met these 2 guys from American Air Force Station, Luxembourg. I was like, hey, you guys got a room? They're like, no, we're just winging it right now. I was like, okay, maybe we can get a triple or something. I'm going to hang out with you guys. And it was like, cool. So we get to San Sebastian, and one of these guys speaks Spanish. So he's trying to make eye contact with a conductor to bribe him so we can get on. But he's not making eye contact. The whole train is partying. They're not having it. It leaves. We get depressed. We go into the tunnel. We meet Barbara Panzarella and Michelle Sacco from Connecticut, and they met Pepe from Mexico. And Pepe's on the phone chartering a bus. So 20 people from New Zealand, Australia. There's a person I'm friends with on Facebook. I've only met her once, and it was on that bus. She was going to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and ended up sitting in back of me. But that being said, just chartered a bus and then went to Pamplona. And of those 20 people, I was the only one who didn't drink, and I was the only one who ran.
Okay.
Did they sponsor you?
No, well, there were some guys from Nebraska, and I just said, would you watch my backpack, please? And they're like, yeah, if you're running, yeah, you're good. You're good. So,
Wow.
yeah, I just went in, and it's like, okay, I can't leave and not just touch a bull. So when you get to the ring, they close it up. One passed me, and I smacked it on its ass. And you're not supposed to touch the bulls. You're not supposed to touch the bulls. That's why you have a rolled up newspaper and you hit them like that. And that's just to get them off you. Because there are videos of, grabbing bulls by the horns. They'll pull you off, the Spaniards, throw you to the ground and start kicking you in the ribs in the middle of that ring. Because you do not do that. That's a no-no, even if you're being attacked. Unless you're targeted and stuff like that. But if you grab that bull by the horns, they're on you. And that's the people. So that's all I wanted to do was like, okay, how am I going to play this out? That's everything I took. They have 7-foot concrete barriers around there. I just jumped those, got out of the ring, and then looked for the last place my backpack was. And he's like, hey, you ran? I was like, yeah, look at the blood,
Oh my God.
So I was like,
oh my God.
The blood, did you get
no, it wasn't mine.
Oh.
It wasn't mine. Somebody else got gored and then ran into me. And I was like,
my
God.
God.
I still got the shirt with somebody else's blood on it.
You never washed the shirt?
I never washed the shirt. It's blood from in Sierra.
I actually respect that.
Somebody got hit by a bull.
I actually respect that.
I respect that, sure. But it goes on that fuck no list.
You would never run?
Fuck no. It's not my habitat. It's up there with like getting to a cage with sharks or getting near a snake. It's no. God.
I said I'm going to do it. You know what's more painful to me than running with the bulls is I went to the Brit expat meetup, and it's a bunch of Scottish people there. What's more painful to me than running with the bulls is that I shook somebody's hand and told them I would eat haggis. That is far more not fun to me than getting hurt by a bull.
I'd definitely eat haggis, though. I would definitely eat haggis.
Yeah, it's going to be a one gulp chuck for me. I said I'd do it. I'm going to video myself, and that's it.
I will never hate on a food until I try it.
Oh, okay.
So I would try haggis. I don't think I'd enjoy it, but I would try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try it in Edinburgh, and but that's far more uncomfortable than running with bulls. Have you tried it?
Have you tried haggis though?
I've tried something close. I tried salmagen, and I felt salmagen's. When I was in Germany, it was Helmut Kohl's, the chancellor's favorite food. So I'm staying with a host family. We go to this castle. I see it, salmagen, and I'm just like eating away at this loaf. And then it occurs to me, magen means stomach. I knew that because of German class, but sal is a pig stomach. Whoops. I was like, oh, Jesus. Oh, and it was expensive too, but it's not like the organ I was eating. It's what's encapsulated it. And it's just meatloaf. It's a pork meatloaf, but I couldn't get the organ out of my head. So I ate 1.5 slices and I felt so bad because it was expensive. And back then they didn't have doggy bags. So I felt bad, but thank you.
Last week I was in England. There was one thing that they made me try. It was called Marmite. It's
Vegemite and Marmite.
Yeah. It's Vegemite. It's like a British Vegemite essentially. And they're like, have you ever tried it? I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. Spread some on some toast. It was fine. I liked it.
Oh, you liked it? I went for a good healthy dose of both, and I'm like, no.
Well, see, hold on. So that's but that's the thing. Because I remember, growing up, the Quakes, the minor league team.
Yeah.
We would host some of the players because they don't make shit. And one of them was Australian. And so he swore up and down. If you go to Australia, they will swear up and down Vegemite is the shit. Same thing with Marmite, I'm sure. And so, because same thing, we tried it because he came from Australia. He had his Vegemite because that's Australian. And we tried it, this is fucking gross. And so he was like, you're doing it wrong. And I'm not defending it because I still didn't like it. And I haven't tried it since I was a kid. Maybe now as an adult, you like your vegetables now. Maybe it's different. But it's kind of like scotch. If you just gulp it down, it doesn't taste that great. Right. But if you sip it, it's good.
Yeah.
So he spread a very thin layer of Vegemite on a piece of toast, and he tried it that way. And I think as a kid, you're stubborn.
Yeah.
So I still didn't like it at the time, but he made the point of no, you don't fucking slather it on like peanut butter.
Yeah. That's exactly what I treated it like peanut
butter. Yeah, of course, we're fucking Americans. But no, so he's spread it ultra thin. I'm sure if I tried it again, it'd probably be good.
Yeah, that's how it was served to me. They did
so,
it really thin, and they said a little bit of butter, a little bit of Marmite. I'll never get it right.
Vegemite or Marmite, yeah.
It's the same, isn't it the same thing?
They taste the same thing.
They swirl different down the toilet.
Yeah, it's just oh Jesus. And it's pretty much beer scum. It's beer scum, and then
it's yeast. It's yeast extract. It's it's like a savory, really savory spread. So,
but it's like pate and foie gras too.
I've had neither of those.
Of course,
I've had neither of those. What the fuck are you talking?
Pate and foie gras.
You can't just make up words and what?
Well, it's like goose liver, and
this is getting weird, Eddie.
Huh?
It's like spaghetti and meatball.
It's a goose liver and
I
have heard of
liver. It's just, or I don't know what it is, but we're in American culture. We're not very much into organ meats, and that's what those are.
No, I do know Fagua is it? What's it called?
Fagua.
I remember right before COVID shut down, that was like the latest thing everyone was outraged about. It was like that. Mm-hmm. It was right after the plastic straws thing.
What is fagua?
Yep.
It's like veal, but for geese.
Well, they don't emaciate. They don't emaciate like they do with veal, where they just barricade them. They stuff food down the goose.
That's okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a high class piece of food that is obtained with a little bit of animal cruelty.
A little
bit of animal cruelty. I'm sorry they don't want to be fed a lot. Fucking geese.
They should be appreciative.
Yeah, fucking, they're just complainers. Anyway, no, but I remember right before they'd outlawed plastic straws in Long Beach, and next was the fagua.
Fagua.
Sounds like a epitaph. Sorry.
I've had beef cheeks.
Like from another person or
No, we went to a nice restaurant with my in-laws, if you will, my future
and
in-laws.
They took you in the back and you got some beef cheeks.
We don't like to talk about it, but no, yeah, it was something on the menu, and
the kids today call it eating ass.
Yes, I had to pay a lot.
Was it good? Did you like it?
No, but so I honestly, and this is ignorant of me because I should have just Googled it, but I don't. I forgot if it's actually like the cheek of the cow or whatever. But I remember because you hear beef cheeks and immediately, obviously, like you're like. But it was actually pretty good. It was like really, it was a small dish, very thin sliced meat, but it was actually pretty good. But I remember, so me and my mother-in-law, my future mother-in-law, we were like, let's try it. And then my lady and the father-in-law were like, sounds gross.
Yeah.
So me and my mother-in-law just got down on some beef cheeks.
Yeah. That's the best person to do that with.
It's good when you pay for it, but it's really good when they pay you for it.
Yeah, when it's really good and they're like really on good. The house.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I ever told you this, because in acting class we somehow got into the exotic meats. I fed my kangaroo burger to Callie.
You did tell me that already.
Oh, okay.
Context.
I tell that is the worst.
You're out of your fucking mind.
Exotic.
No, so context. I don't know. I don't think you were there, but I had a barbecue. I think I was like, anyway, I was like 20, 21.
Something like that, yeah.
You were like, it was like 10 years ago, so you were like 60. But no, so I ordered, so I went to Australia the first time on like an educational trip like I did in London.
I went to England.
Did you go to England?
Yeah.
Okay. I went to Australia. The second time I went with a friend and we were there for a week and it was a lot better. We had to do our own thing and we went to a restaurant and it's one of those things, you're in Australia, you're looking through it's like burgers and this shit and then there's kangaroo fillet. And it's like, of course we're having kangaroo fillet.
Kangaroo, yeah.
We can't not have kangaroo fillet. And so we had it and it was good. And so, yeah, so I had ordered, I forgot how many like kangaroo burgers from this company and had a barbecue. Like, let's do some kangaroo burgers.
Wow.
And everyone loved them. And Eddie was the only motherfucker who took like 2 bites and was like, can't do it.
No. Maybe I got the bad one. Maybe I got the runt.
The most traveled person I know, the most cultured person was like,
I was surprised I didn't like it. I was like, dude, this is disgusting. I'm surprised that other people liked it. I guess I got a bad one.
Maybe.
I mean, you never know. I mean, also, I think people who are that traveled know themselves the most. And they're like, I've been all over the world. I've tried enough shit.
Not this.
Now I can be discerning if I want to, okay?
Yeah, I get that. It was just funny to me.
Yeah, that's funny.
And you still give me shit, yeah.
Yeah.
And I still give you shit.
That's still the worst. Yeah, it's mutual shit.
Wish I was there.
Well, there might be a burger.
Yeah, well, you know,
left
it's
over.
Eddie still hasn't finished his.
The next barbecue I have, I'm gonna order kangaroo burgers, and we're gonna redeem Eddie.
Cool.
On camera.
Yeah, you order it. I'll take kangaroo burger for Mitch, and beef for the rest of us.
I'll make blood sausages.
I haven't had blood sausage yet.
Me neither. Me neither.
And you know what? I've seen the documentaries. I've seen the things against it. I would still try it.
You would? Okay.
Just like I said, I will never hate on something until I try it.
Yeah. I was in England recently, and they
Were you in
one
England?
of the things. Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to try, like the bucket list, because it was only going to be a week, so we had like limited things.
Yeah.
You know, one of the bucket list things was to have a proper English breakfast, because I've heard tales, and I was like, but it's usually incorporates with a blood sausage. And
Black
I was like,
pudding. Yeah, the black pudding.
Yeah, black pudding, and I was like, I don't know. My brother-in-law was like, well, you know, some do, some don't. We usually just have regular pork sausage, and you know, it's fine. You can cheat on this one, and it'd be still technical. So, got to have a English breakfast. It was pretty good.
Nice. Like, to clarify, it's not like I'm going to sit there and just gorge out on.
No, but you got to try it.
But I would try a blood sausage.
I think I would too. Just not that trip, but.
Yeah, just to, like I said, just to say you've done it. Kind of like Eddie could say that he got Mickeyed by an attractive black woman who, like, it's life experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is for all the.
It's gonna feel the same. It's gonna feel the same. You're gonna look at somebody and they're gonna get dizzy, and you're gonna go, "Oh, I had some of that blood sausage."
You know what?
I've done it. Cool.
You know what? And
bucket list sign.
And I've learned, and by the time I'm Eddie's age and I'm 75, and I'm doing things. But I've learned it now. Like, sometimes those awful experiences in the back of your head, you're like, this will be a good story. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're
this.
75. You're like, damn it, I'm going to a hotel. This is,
Yes.
I've lived long enough. I'm not 70 anymore. You know,
I need a good mattress.
Yeah.
I can't sleep in the park.
I'm not going to some fucking Monterey hotel anyway.
I feel so damn bougie because I'm in the market for a credit card, and I want one where I can sit in a lounge before I even get on the damn plane.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, sure. I just go to the bar.
You can get the senior discount.
I'm gonna miss that on about COVID.
What?
Because when my lady did she was out for like 2 weeks in Colorado on a work trip, so I just went out there for a weekend to visit because I have a good friend in Colorado anyway. And the bump,
not the wife. Or the your lady. I had a friend there.
No,
and I might as well go.
It was a double whammy.
Yeah.
And 2 birds, 1 stone.
My girl's in Colorado for 2 weeks. I guess I'll go visit for a weekend because I do have a friend there.
I do have a friend.
I do. I got to see my friend.
I can't waste my time.
Yeah, God.
I can't waste my time, my money.
I'm giving you shit. I'm sorry.
No, but so the ticket price. This is actually in February of this year. The ticket price was whatever, and then like to bump to first class was like $30. I forgot what it was, but it was something not even that bad. And I was like,
prices.
Of course,
yeah,
of course I'm gonna bump to first class.
Yeah.
Granted, it was like United, so and it wasn't like international, so it wasn't like fucking beds and shit. But it was like a nice chair, and now that first class is going back up.
Bullshit, man. Yeah.
Because I know, right? So now, when I went to New Zealand last, I was in coach, and granted, it's an international flight, so the seats, the seats are better than Sprint and Spirit, pretty much the equivalent.
But
it's still not great.
Yeah.
If I were to go international again, I'd probably try to save up and get at least the first bump to where it's something comfortable.
Yeah, not first class, but at least some legroom.
Yeah, at least
that's what I'm going to do this trip.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be. British Airways, and I'm just going to spring for something. I haven't never flown first or business, but I have flown a charter like a Gulfstream 3.
Oh, fuck you.
And it's like a couch in there, you know.
Yeah.
And when you take your bags, the pilot helps you. You know, it's like okay.
Wow.
But
and you want to go see what they're doing in the cockpit because a plane like got too close to you, and so you want to say, hey, what the hell?
Oh my God.
Go up there and they're
tap them on the shoulder. Yeah.
Reading Maxim, it's like they changed the ceiling last year. It's not a big deal, and then they go back to reading their Maxim. You know?
When I was in England last week, and I was on the way back, and we flew American out and then British Airways back, and we very much prepared for the long flight. It was the way back was a direct, so it was an 11-hour flight. I had my laptop, and I had pre-downloaded movies and shows on my phone with my headphones on, and I was playing Minecraft on my laptop. So just another like evening really for me. It was pretty great. Despite I was on a plane but a good like 4 or 5 hours I was just plugged in. It was pretty good.
No, sure. I think so. The flight back from New Zealand, same. I'm not sure if I had a movie on my laptop or if I just did their in-flight stuff. But I think I feel like I watched a movie. I took a nap. I woke up. I watched another movie. I kind of probably took a nap again.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right,
done.
I think a lot of people they overestimate the 12-hour flight. Because don't get me wrong, it could be a long time.
Yeah.
But if you really just kind of clamp down and
if you don't think about it,
if you settle in, you're fine.
It's weird to say, but like honestly, the flight out. I flew to England last week, and
Did
the
you go to
flight
England?
out, we went to Dallas, and then from Dallas to Heathrow.
Okay.
So it was, I think, 10 hours from Dallas to Heathrow.
Sure.
On the way back, we went Heathrow to LAX, which was 11 hours, I think.
Okay.
So 2-3 hour difference between the two felt the same.
Sure.
So it's that same kind of thing. Where
And I think part of it though too. So overall, I made the Pacific trip to Australia, New Zealand 3 times.
Okay.
Round trip 3 times. I think it's kind of like the first time you drive somewhere. The first time you drive somewhere feels longer, and then when you drive there multiple times, you're like, it feels shorter.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you got the landmarks down and the muscle.
And you just kind of know, yeah. So even like, granted, there were years apart, but like to New Zealand, that 12-hour flight was like, this is a fucking 12-hour flight. The flight back, like analyzing it, like didn't feel that bad at all because like maybe you're used to it, like whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think the flight there was different. The flight back, I don't think I got up out of my seat.
Oh yeah.
Ever, even to pee, and I was drinking.
That's crazy. It's a trip because the company next to you.
It's literally a trip.
It is a trip.
Go on.
It is a trip. But it's fascinating. Just the people sitting next to you can make all the difference.
Jack off.
I had to go to Seattle, Ontario to Seattle, and I was just trying to look out the window because I wanted to see takeoff, and just the woman in the sitting.
I thought you said I looked at the window because I wanted to see tits, and you said takeoff, and I was like,
that too.
what kind of airport
and
are
I'm
you at?
making eye contact. I'm looking out the window because I've got the aisle seat, and the woman like sitting next to me. It's like I'm trying to avoid her, and then she makes eye contact. I was like, hi.
Yeah.
And then we start talking, and from like takeoff, we didn't shut up the whole time. When the plane landed, I was surprised.
Yeah.
It went bam. I was like, oh, damn, we've landed? Because we were just talking to each other.
Yeah.
Very true. I've had that same kind of thing. That same exact flight that's happened to me. Ontario to SeaTac. You just talk with people, and it's like it's a 2.5 hour flight, and goes by like a half hour if you get sat with the right people. So
yeah,
Exactly.
I could relate. I took a flight. I might have talked about it. I actually swapped seats with someone because someone wanted to sit next to their fiance or their wife or something, and it was crazy. This guy sat next to me, and he was really overweight, and his arm went into my space, and it seems really long.
Yeah, when it's something little like that.
So I can imagine how nice it would be to have someone to talk to, and it'd be
Yeah.
really nice. Yeah.
That would be it's wonderful, Glennie. You should try it. You should try sitting next to nice people.
I will say there was actually a really nice experience, and we're going really long right now, but to finalize, a really nice travel experience I had. I think I was flying to Alabama to visit family. I think my family was already there, and I was flying to meet them. It was like for a funeral, yeah. But so,
moving on.
So, but no, so I had a layover, I think in either Dallas or Phoenix. You know, those airports are like
the hub
hub
hubs,
airports,
yeah.
yeah. And I forgot how it started. I went to like sit somewhere, and this chick, I think I was like maybe 20, 21, and this girl who was like 17, 18, 19, something like that. We just struck up a conversation, and we happened to be going to the same place. Or rewind, sorry. We were going to the hub. And we were on this flight together. So it's been a long time. And it was a 3-seat row, and I was sitting at the aisle. She was window, and she's like, "Are you taking this middle spot?" I was like, "I don't think so." And it was open by the time we were flying. I'm like, "Cool." And we were like just putting our shit down. Like, "Cool."
Nice.
So we started talking, same sort of thing. We hit it off, and at the whatever the hub airport was, she was like, "How long is your, how long is your wait?" And I was like, "A couple hours." She's like, "I have a couple hours. You want to hang out?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so we went and we had lunch together, and we had a great conversation, and it was really delightful.
Nice.
And then
That is cool.
yeah, and like as weird as she was just like, "All right, well, have a nice life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And like,
Well,
so
you could keep in contact. If you're moved to keep in contact, you could certainly do that.
Well, of course,
And even
and-
if you do keep in contact, are you going to call each other?
yeah, and so it's one of those mixed things, like to where part of me was like, it would have been cool to like get her info and just it wasn't a romantic way or anything. It was just really cool, but at the same time there was sort of that magic to it, where it was like, no, that's where it ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was nice.
Special. Yeah.
That's where it
Yes,
ends.
got it.
What was it in City Slickers? I forgot. Curly's is the old guy in City Slickers, where he talks about the love of his life was this woman that he observed and thought she was beautiful and never.
Yeah.
And the guy, and he was like, well, like you didn't talk to her, you didn't do anything. He's like, no, in that moment she was perfect. Why would I fucking ruin that?
That's Whoa.
Good point.
On that note.
On
Wow.
that
That
note.
was,
Anyway,
that was
to end on that
fast.
note, no. So it was a pretty cool thing, like to where there was that, like to repeat myself, there was that thing of it would have been cool to keep in touch, but at the same time, oh, that was a nice experience. Like just end it there.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that was kind of a
Charm of the road too.
Yeah.
Because you meet people and you have this great plain relationship, or you meet them in the hotel jacuzzi, and then it's like, okay, we had fun.
Eddie, it's a family show.
It's a family.
You know,
To quote Fight Club, it's a single serving friend.
Single serving friend.
exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, that was a fun episode.
Yeah. Travel.
That was fun.
Travel.
Well,
and
travel is always fun to
adventures.
talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the one thing, they hand out cars on Prices Right, and you're going to Italy or something, so travel's
Sure.
fun.
You're going to Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Pack your bags. It's for the 5th largest cheese festival in Wisconsin.
I'd like that prize. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been fun
Yes,
for
thanks
us.
for
I hope it's
joining
been
us.
fun for you.
It was fun
It
for me.
was-
Oh, the audience. Yeah.
For them.
Yeah. I hope it's
I hope all
It was fun for us. Trust us.
all 9
Trust
of
us.
you.
all 9 of you.
I appreciate
All
it.
night. Thank you, 9. Love you, 9.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.